Did you know that trauma is not what happens to us, but how our brain and body internalizes what happens and how that changes us physiologically? Hi, my name is Anna Marsh, and I am a licensed clinical social worker and a trauma resolution neurotherapist. I do these videos to help you take your power back. So let's start with the official definition of trauma by some health organizations. According to the American Psychological Association, trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Immediately after the event, shock and denial are typical. Long-term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches and nausea. Now, how I define trauma in simple terms is that trauma is an event or a series of events that happen in our lives that are connected to very strong emotions, and they usually start changing us physiologically. As we're not aware of this, things start happening internally that then get to us to have those reactions, those uh, things that feel like out of control. We almost are hijacked by our emotions. Now, our body has this amazing system called the autonomic nervous system, and that system is there to help us respond to danger. So we have what many of you have heard of, fight or flight, but there's more than that. It's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fight is when we face the danger head on, right? We just want to go at it and confront it. Flight is when we want to run away from the danger. Usually that's the first typical reaction that we have, to try and fight or run, but if we can't, then we want to fight. When we can't do either one of them, then we're going to freeze. That's when we become immobilized and making it very difficult to change. And the last is fawn. Fawn is usually when we identify with the source of danger, or we almost befriend the source of danger in order to protect ourselves. Now we're going to focus on freeze. Freeze is usually when trauma happens. Why? Because we become immobilized. We are unable to respond to the situation, oftentimes making us feel guilty, shame, all kinds of things, fear. And it's a very strong emotion connected to that immobilization. So oftentimes, most of the time, when trauma happens, it happens in the freeze mode. There's a big study that was done on trauma around adverse childhood experiences. And why they tend to affect us, if you think about it, is because when we are kids, we are powerless, right? We depend on the adults in our lives. We often see things as scarier than they might be, although sometimes they are scary, or we may be affected by the actions of others and we have no control. So therefore, oftentimes, more trauma tends to happen as children because of that inability to respond, to react, or do anything about the situation. So now, are we doomed to live with this trauma for the rest of our lives? Not necessarily, although there are times that things have gone so far that they've caused a lot of damage, whether it's physical, emotional, mental damage. But that does not mean that we cannot work at healing or at least improving some of those symptoms that come from that trauma. So first, consider finding a trauma resolution therapist. That is a person who's been trained and practices different modalities of trauma resolution. That can include EMDR, internal family systems, somatic work, or there are a whole host of trauma resolution therapies out there that really work at helping you reprocess those memories, kind of release them from the body, helping you get better, feel better, respond better, because by reprocessing those memories, you can really get improvements in your lives. I've seen it every day. I see it on a constant basis with most of the clients that I work with, specifically around trauma. 2, consider things like neurofeedback, photobiomodulation, heart rate variability, neuromeditation, which is a combination of meditation with neurofeedback, TMS, vagus nerve stimulation, and other non-invasive modalities that can help you regulate your emotions, your system, so that you can have access to those memories and you can have access to those past traumas, and you can work through them with your provider or by yourself, but that you can really work through them. Be careful, because you do need to go to people who know what they're doing to make sure that things are done properly. 3, yoga and mindfulness. Same thing with Tai Chi, Qigong, any of these modalities where you are doing that physical work to help move through the body some of the stored memories and traumas that you have. Research shows that, for example, yoga is very effective for things like depression, anxiety, but also helps work with some of the trauma related issues. Oftentimes when I work with clients, I recommend a lot of that body work because it is really important to get things moving through the body. 4, and it's pretty connected to number 3, it's expressive forms of therapy. That's dance therapy, even art therapy. These forms of therapies are really great at helping you work through your emotional stuff that you're carrying through creative formats, creative forms of therapy in order to help you release in a way that works for you. 5, and a very key one that I would recommend, there are many others, but I'm going to only cover 5 today, and it's connection and creating safe spaces. Either find spaces that are safe where you can express and work through the healing of the trauma, or create your own. Create communities. Community is very important. When people are traumatized, they often isolate, and it's actually shown to cause depression. Isolation tends to be connected with depression. So find communities that you feel safe with, communities that you can work through things with. And as you continue to heal and you are working with others, you'll find that some of those ramifications of the trauma that may be there that you're not even aware of, they come up for you. But as you help in others and you're working with others, you will see that it will help you work through your own ramifications of things, helping you get better and continue in the healing process. Thank you for watching, and remember, you are not alone. Together, we can navigate this journey. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with anyone who may benefit from these videos.